Okay, so imagine this for a moment. Foods you eat every day, things that feel completely normal, were once feared, restricted. Number 10. When Europe declared war on the potato. In the 1500s, a strange plant arrived in Europe from South America, the potato, something that could have solved hunger almost immediately. But instead of being welcomed, it was rejected. It grew underground, suspicious. It wasn't mentioned in the Bible, untrustworthy, and it belonged to the same plant family as some poisonous species. In places like France and Germany, people refused to grow it. Some authorities even restricted it, claiming it caused disease. At one point, they blamed it for spreading leprosy. The potato, the same food behind fries, chips, and countless meals today, was treated like a threat. People didn't eat it. They displayed its flowers instead. Until one man changed everything. Antoine Augustin Parmentier. He had eaten potatoes while imprisoned during war and knew the truth. They were safe, nutritious, powerful. So he didn't argue, he convinced. He hosted elegant dinners where every dish featured potatoes. He persuaded the king to wear a potato flower, like a symbol. And then he did something brilliant. He guarded potato fields with soldiers during the day, making them look valuable. And at night, he let people steal them. Once they started eating them, everything changed. The potato didn't change, the belief did. And that belief helped feed an entire continent for generations. Number 9. The cheese that moves. On the island of Sardinia, there's a cheese that doesn't just age, it transforms. Casso marzu. It starts as a normal pecorino. Then it's exposed to flies. They lay eggs, the eggs hatch, and the larvae begin to break the cheese down from the inside, turning it soft, creamy, alive. Yes, alive. For locals, this wasn't strange. It was tradition, a delicacy for special occasions. The movement of the larvae meant freshness. If they stopped moving, you didn't need it. But in 1962, European food safety laws changed everything. Live insect larvae in food? Illegal. Just like that, this centuries-old tradition went underground, sold quietly, from farmer to neighbor, from friend to friend, a hidden market for a living cheese. Some foods are banned because they're dangerous, others because they don't fit the rules. Number 8. The chocolate egg treated like contraband. If you've ever seen a Kinder Surprise, you know exactly what it is. Chocolate on the outside, a small toy hidden inside. Simple, fun, illegal in the United States for decades. The reason? A law from 1938. It banned candy that contained non-edible objects inside. The idea made sense, protect children from choking hazards. But the result was strange. At airports, customs agents confiscated Kinder eggs. People were fined, all over something smaller than a thumb. Meanwhile, the same product was sold everywhere else in the world. The danger didn't change, the interpretation did. So the company adapted. Ferrero created Kinder Joy, two separate halves, one with chocolate, one with the toy. Same idea, different structure, now legal. Sometimes the difference between banned and accepted is just design. Number 7. The fish you need a license to cook. In Japan, there's a dish that can kill you if prepared incorrectly. Fugu, a fish containing a toxin far more powerful than cyanide. It can paralyze your body while you remain fully conscious. No widely available antidote. During the Edo period, it was banned in many regions. Too many deaths, too many risks. Even samurai were forbidden from eating it. But people didn't stop. Instead, they learned. Over time, chefs developed precise techniques to remove the toxic parts. Today, fugu is legal, but only under strict regulation. Chefs train for years, pass exams, earn licenses, because one mistake is enough. It's one of the few foods in the world where cooking it is closer to a certification than a recipe. Number 6. The lobster paradox. Today, lobster means luxury, but once it meant the opposite. In colonial America, lobsters were everywhere, so abundant they washed up in piles. They were fed to prisoners, to servants, used as fertilizer. Some workers even had contracts limiting how often they could be fed lobster because it was considered too low quality, almost insulting. Over time, laws and regulations began shaping how it was caught and sold. Size limits, fishing seasons, protection for breeding populations. Then came refrigeration and railroads. Suddenly, lobster could travel inland to cities, to people who had never seen it before. And from a distance, it became rare, expensive, desirable. The lobster didn't change, its location did. And sometimes, distance is what creates value. Number 5. The ice cream tied to a centuries-old fear. Absinthe was once one of the most controversial drinks in the world. It was blamed for hallucinations, madness, even violence. The ingredient at the center of the panic, wormwood, and a compound called thujone. By the early 1900s, absinthe was banned in many countries. Years later, science revealed something important. The danger had been exaggerated. The real issue was often poor production and high alcohol content, not the mythical effects people feared. Absinthe was eventually legalized again in places like the US, but regulations remained. Strict limits on thujone. And here's where it gets strange. Even desserts, like absinthe-flavored ice cream, faced restrictions. Not because they caused hallucinations, not because they were unsafe, but because they had to fit chemical thresholds based on fears from a century earlier. Sometimes, laws don't just regulate reality, they regulate history. Number 4. The foie gras wars. Few foods have sparked so much debate as foie gras. In France, it's tradition, protected, celebrated, part of cultural identity. In other places, it's banned. The controversy comes from how it's made, a feeding process that enlarges the liver of ducks or geese. For some, it's unacceptable. For others, it's heritage. In places like California, laws have banned it, reversed the bans again, reinstated them again for years. In Chicago, the ban lasted only 2 years before being removed. The food itself never changed. The recipe stayed the same. What changed was how people felt about it. Because when food becomes a moral issue, it stops being just food. It becomes law. Number 3. The black market for milk. Milk seems harmless, basic, safe. But raw milk is a different story. Unpasteurized milk has been linked to serious diseases in the past, which is why many governments required pasteurization. In the US, selling raw milk across state lines is illegal. Some states ban it entirely, others allow it under strict conditions, and yet demand still exists. So people found ways around it, buying shares in cows, joining herd programs, creating legal loopholes, even facing legal action in some cases. Milk treated like contraband, not because it's new, but because of the risks tied to how it's handled. Number 2. The flavor that disappeared. Root beer used to taste different. Originally, it was made using sassafras root, which contains a compound called safrole. In the 1960s, studies suggested it could be harmful in high doses, so regulators banned it. Manufacturers removed it, replaced it, and just like that, the original flavor vanished. Most people today have never tasted it. A classic drink quietly rewritten, not by culture, but by precaution. Number 1. The gum that changed a city. In 1992, Singapore did something unusual. It banned chewing gum, not for health reasons, not for safety, but for infrastructure. People kept sticking gum everywhere. Sidewalks, elevators, train doors, and eventually it caused real problems. Gum jammed the sensors of subway doors. Trains couldn't function properly. So the government acted. They banned it completely. Years later, the law relaxed slightly. Medical gum became allowed, but regular gum remained controlled. A small object, a big impact, because sometimes a rule says less about the object itself and more about the system it protects. What all of these stories have in common isn't the food, it's perception, fear, context, because what we consider normal today might have been unthinkable before, and what we reject now might one day become essential. And remember, the universe doesn't reveal its secrets to those who rush, it reveals them to those who know how to look. Subscribe and keep listening to the silence.